This video accompanies potential gamers' review of Bioshock. This is a game that's been out for a while, but I've only just got around to finishing it, and it is a game that you have to finish before you can really form a proper opinion of it. What's immediately apparent to anyone that plays Bioshock is its fantastic art design. The game's visuals at times are really quite staggering. This is one of the first supposed next-generation games that came out on consoles. While it wasn't quite such a leap for PC gaming, it's still remarkably beautiful at times. It frequently blends the line between beauty and horror to startling effect. The story begins after you survive a horrific plane crash. Having escaped from the burning wreckage, you discover a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean. Upon further investigation, you're introduced to one of the game's main characters, Andrew Ryan. It's here that you first get a glimpse of the Art Deco design, as well as the fantastic audio. The technical achievements in Bioshock really bring the world to life and make you fully immersed in this environment. This opening sequence also shows off Bioshock's tendency for kind of background storytelling. It's not all done through cutscenes and heavy dialogue. A lot of it is done through the design of the sets and the lighting, guiding your view to something that's important. These signs on the wall, for example, quickly set up the main themes behind Andrew Ryan's vision for Rapture. It's a technique employed most in Half-Life 2, whereby it's the background details that actually inform the world, rather than the foreground stuff. Occasionally the technical achievement falls slightly short of the artistic ambition, as with your first sight of Rapture. There's something about the lighting and the detail here that I really don't like. It's not up to the same quality as the rest of the game, and given this is your first sight of the amazing city, it's a real shame. Having said that, you do soon get a good idea of the game's vision and flair, as with this entry sequence here. Once you enter the city itself, you're soon treated to the nightmare situation it's become, where civil wars erupted between the varying factions.
What crawls in my garden?
The game does an excellent job of showing what happens when a utopia goes wrong. Everywhere you go, you can see the sense of what it should be like, and then what the actual reality has ended up becoming. As well as the standard weapons, you also have access to plasmids. As you can see, these allow you to fire electricity or fire out of your hands. Although plasmids make battles look great, and they're a lot of fun, sometimes they make things a little too easy. Ammunition is so easy to find, and your plasmids are almost always readily available, that nothing ever really poses a huge challenge. This is compounded by the fact that when you die, the game doesn't end. Instead, you simply reappear in a Vita chamber and can carry on from where you left off. While this keeps the flow going, it does mean that you can basically just wear away at the bad guys while you continue to regenerate and they don't. Games keep trying different techniques to avoid the game over screen, whether it's the Call of Duty style replenishing health or Bioshock's resurrection abilities. It's an interesting problem, but I don't think anyone's quite figured out the best solution yet. One of Bioshock's major enemies are the Big Daddies. These lumbering giants wander around protecting small children that possess much of the power that you're required to progress through the game. Taking them down can be quite an epic fight, and you have to use all your powers to do so. What's particularly intriguing is that when you finally take down the Big Daddy, you're given a choice about what to do with the little sister. You can either harvest her, taking her power but leaving her to a rather uncertain fate, or rescue her, which stops her from being this mindless zombie child and returns her to being a normal human being. Your decisions do affect the game in the later stages, and it's good to find a game that poses interesting moral questions, even if sometimes the resolution is a little simplistic. This is Bioshock's greatest achievement as well as its biggest flaw. While it asks lots of questions, the answers aren't always particularly satisfactory. It's nevertheless an interesting and unusual game, well worth playing. Check out potentialgamer.com for the full review.